Welcome to the February installment of Chatham Today. There is a lot going on in this month, so we will get right to it. Our special segment this month is an interview with the newly appointed Town of Chatham Emergency Manager, John Kandratowicz. He will be discussing the importance of registering with Swift 911, sheltering during an emergency, the personal care site, and volunteers for the Community Emergency Response Team, or CERT. Let's start by highlighting the events offered at the Chatham Council on Aging.
On Thursday, February 7th at 10:45, Balancing Act, free fall risk screenings. Have you noticed that your balance isn't as good as it used to be? Are you afraid of falling? Sign up to reserve a completely free 10-minute screening appointment at the COA. A registered physical therapist through the VNA of Cape Cod conducts the appointment. Learn how you can improve your balance and ways to stay fall-free. Call the COA to reserve your appointment.
And on Monday, February 11th at 12 o'clock, My Country Valentine, luncheon, party, and show featuring entertainment by yesterday's country band. Join them as they celebrate Valentine's Day with a luncheon, party, and show. This entertaining five-piece country band is back at the COA by popular demand. Since 2011, this group of semi-retired musicians has been playing for folks all over southeastern Massachusetts and Cape Cod. Now they are back at the COA to delight you with your favorite old-fashioned country tunes. Hee-haw! Reservations are required and transportation is available. Tickets for the luncheon party and show are $9. Call the COA to reserve your spot now.
Get your cowboy boots shined
That's
up.
right, yeah, right, absolutely. Monday, February 25th from 11 to noon, you can beat the winter blues with Hygge. Come and learn about a fundamental quality of Danish culture, Hygge. Hygge means creating a sanctuary of coziness, happiness, warmth, and comfort for yourself. In the midst of the cold season, join the COA and Peggy Wilbur from Broadreach Hospice, who will talk about ways to find positivity in the cold, short days of this season. You'll be making a special gift to bring home a little light and warmth. Give yourself a treat with this Hygge workshop. Again, reservations are required and transportation is available. Call the COA soon to register.
On Mondays and Wednesdays from 8:30 to 2:30, beginning February 4th through April 10th, AARP Foundation tax preparation is available free to taxpayers with low and moderate income, with special attention to those 60 plus, ensuring they receive applicable tax credits and deductions. AARP Foundation Tax Aid is offered in cooperation with the IRS. Chatham seniors will be served at the AARP regional site at the Chatham Community Center. Appointments are now available. Transportation will also be available. Stop by the COA to make an appointment and receive your intake packet. Call the COA for more information.
Wednesday, February 27th at 10, there will be a day trip destination, Scargo Pottery Studio and Gallery in Dennis. This will be followed by luncheon at the Marshside Restaurant. The studio creates and displays functional pottery for everyday use. They also create clay sculptures, wall tiles, bird baths, and castles. Their works feature stunning glazes developed and passed along over generations. Founded in 1952 by renowned potter Harry Hall, Scargo Pottery is currently owned and operated by potters Tina Hall, Kim Hall, and Medden Parker. Following the tour, you will have lunch at the nearby Marshside Restaurant, which offers a variety of delicious luncheon menu items and specials and overlooks fabulous scenic marshlands. The bus departs the COA at 10. Admission to the Scargo Pottery Tour is free. Transportation is also free. However, lunch is at the cost of the diner. Reservations are required. Call the COA now to reserve your place.
And now for the events featured at the Eldridge Public Library. Attention all cookbook lovers. The Eldridge Public Library invites you to join Reading in the Kitchen, a cookbook group, February 5th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. The group meets the first Tuesday of each month to taste recipes and discuss cookbooks. Each month, they choose a different cookbook. You let them know which recipe you will cook to share with the other members, and then meet to taste the recipes and talk about the cookbook and your cooking experience. A great way to meet fellow foodies and expand your cooking experience. This month's selection is any recipe from the A to Z World Food Database, available on their website. To sign up, please contact Lorna Zialo using the email on your screen now or by calling the library front desk at 508-945-5170. Registration is required. This group cannot accommodate drop-ins.
On Saturday, February 9th at 2 p.m., local author Robin Smith Johnson is coming to share her latest book, Cape Cod Curiosities, Jeremiah's Gutter, The Historian Who Flew as Santa, Pukwudgies, and more. Cape Cod may be a popular tourist destination, but it has more than its share of strange and unique history. Join author Robin Smith Johnson as she uncovers the secrets behind many unique places, remarkable events, and fascinating people.
And on Saturday, February 16th at 2 p.m., the Classic Film Group will meet. Librarian Samuel Rome, who is able to combine his love of film with his love of books, and will lead the film group. Get ready for some good movies, good discussions, and good company. Everyone is welcome to join. No registration is needed. This month's selection is Touch of Evil, a 1958 classic directed by Orson Welles.
And on Tuesday, February 26th at 2 p.m., Sailor's Valentine with Greg Roberts. What's a Sailor's Valentine? Come hear Cape Cod native and Sailor's Valentine award-winning artist Greg Roberts talk about the meaning, history, and detailed work that goes into creating these amazing pieces of art. Greg has been creating Sailor's Valentine since 1984, and his work has been featured in museums, art shows, books, and magazines.
On February 26th at 4 p.m., the Friends of the Eldridge Public Library Book Club will meet. This month's selection is Every Note Played by Lisa Genova. Everyone is welcome.
Now we turn to the Atwood House and Museum. On February 10th at 2 p.m., the Atwood House and Museum Sunday Lecture Series presents A Sword in My Bones, Cape Cod's historic battles for civil rights. For such a small peninsula, Cape Cod has at times been in national and even international news for its battles over civil rights. Writer Evan J. Albright will survey more than 4 centuries of struggle by Wampanoag, African American, and Cape Verdean peoples on Cape Cod. Mr. Albright is an award-winning journalist and has been writing about the underbelly of Cape Cod history for 30 years. He is the author of The Man Who Owned a Wonder of the World, The Gringo History of Mexicans' Chichen Itza, the true story of the Cape Cod man who owned one of the 7 wonders of the world. He also authored 2 books on the history of local crime, Cape Cod Confidential and the forthcoming Cape Cod Babylon. He is currently at work on a biography of William Henry Lewis, the first black All-American football player, the first African-American appointed to a sub-cabinet post, and the first African-American to win a case before the U.S. Supreme Court. Tickets will be available at the doors. Doors open at 1:15 and seating is limited. Admission $10 for museum members. Admission is $10. Museum members are free. Additional information about the Sunday monthly lecture series is available at chathamhistoricalsociety.org. And don't forget to check out their new exhibits for 2019.
That sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, absolutely.
And finally, some items of general interest. Wednesday, February 6th and February 27th, there will be a free blood pressure check at the Chatham Community Center from 8:30 to 10:30. No appointment needed. The event is sponsored by the Town of Chatham Health Division and the Barnstable County Department of Health and Environment. For more information, call 508-945-5165.
On Friday, February 8th, Chatham Parks and Recreation is holding a father and daughter dinner and dance for those daughters ages 5 through 12 and accompanied by their father, uncle, or grandfather. Get involved for a night of fun and dancing at the 8th Annual Father and Daughter Dance. Fee includes pizza dinner, refreshments, and picture to commemorate the special occasion. Come as you are or put on your best dress suit. The dance runs from 6 to 8 at the Chatham Community Center. The registration fee is $20 for father and daughter and $5 for each additional daughter. Stop by the Community Center for a registration form or visit the Community Center website, chathamcommunitycenter.com.
And on Sunday, February 10th at 3 p.m., St. Christopher's Episcopal Church presents vocal and instrumental music of Romantic composer Franz Schubert. There is a suggested donation of $20. Tickets will be available at the door or online at stchristopherschatham.org. For more information, call St. Christopher's at 508-945-2832.
Massachusetts Governor Baker has signed into law a bill regulating and taxing short-term rentals. The new law subjects short-term rentals of property to the room occupancy excise tax, General Law Code 64G, as of July 1st, 2019. The new law imposes state and local excises on short-term rentals of property for more than 14 days in a calendar year, for which a rental contract was entered into on or after January 1st, 2019. All short-term rental operators will be required to register with the Department of Revenue. Operators may choose to allow an intermediary or other agent to handle the rental of their property and register with and submit returns and tax due to the Department of Revenue on their behalf. For more information, you can visit the websites listed on your screen now. As we mentioned at the start of the show, we are pleased to have with us John Kondratowicz, the new emergency manager for the town of Chatham. Welcome, John. We're glad to have you here.
It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
As you all heard earlier, John is the new emergency manager for the town of Chatham, and we're here to talk a little bit about exactly what that entails. Since it's a new position, John's going to enlighten us on some of the more important aspects of the job that he has. So, John, the first thing I'd like to ask you about is the registering for the citizens for the SWIFT 911.
Right. Thanks, Hunley. Thanks for bringing that up. SWIFT 911, just to give you sort of an overview of what it is, it's a national system, which basically is, and I'll kind of break down the detail, it's really a reverse 911 system that gets communications out to our citizens throughout the town in the event of emergencies or anything that really needs to be broadcasted by the town. The importance of it is it's that communications piece, and we're able to transmit as much information as possible to give to prepare our citizens for emergencies, for any type of event that's occurring. Water main outages that was recently done. So we have that capability and do that. The challenge phase is getting people to register for that. And there's been a couple mechanisms that we've put into place. We've had actually part of our communications plan with a committee that we've formed is we have citizens that are basically going out and ensuring getting through to the population and most of the demographics that are still here during the wintertime to get that information and to sign up. Signing up for it is rather simple, and there's a couple ways that you can do it, and there's a couple instructions on doing that as well. one of the things that, the biggest thing that we have right now that the town has put into place is that if you go to the town website, and on the right-hand side, it has the link to get into Swift 911. Ryan Darman from Community Television has also gone on with Channel 18 as well, and he's posted videos that basically shows a person who is not familiar enough with the internet or isn't comfortable enough, but he's provided videos that shows the person exactly how to go forward, set up an account, Google account, email account, and also how to sign up into the Swift 911. The other thing that we've offered as well is, Pete Connick, our fire chief, has offered as well, is you can call the fire department and we can walk you through it, or we can even, if there's a hard time and don't have an email address, we actually have been helping people do it. We've seen an increase in people signing up for it, which is basically the message has been getting out. I also bring up, I forgot to bring up that Alan Pollock also, the Cape Cod Chronicle, is actually doing an advertisement too, and making sure it's in the paper as well to get as many people signed up for the Swift 911 system.
Oh, good.
Great system.
So it's obviously some emergency happens. If it's townwide, everyone gets a call. If it's localized, like you said, a water main break in a neighborhood, maybe that neighborhood, it focuses on that neighborhood and they get a call.
That is correct. And that's the nice feature of the system is you can isolate it to a geographical boundaries. You can take a certain area and just highlight that area with the computer system, and it'll say, we will make calls to all these people that are registered within this block here.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
Okay.
very nice. It's a standardized system that's used throughout the nation.
Right. Now, you said something about the year-round residents.
Right.
Now, what do we do about the summer residents who aren't necessarily going to tune in to this show, for example, or to go on the town, necessarily go on the town website? I know when I was, years ago, when I was a town resident, or a summer resident, I didn't, even bother with the town website. I was here
Right.
2 months out of the summer, never really paid much attention to it. Of course, now I'm involved and I do, but some of the summer residents may not know about it. Will there be a rerun of things in the summertime, or how will they get to know?
That you bring up a great point, because that was part of the discussion that we talked about, is trying to reach out to those folks as well at a point. And how do you do that? One of the ways is potentially even putting a notice into there when it comes to tax bill time or that sort of thing. Give them an opportunity. Some of the folks have already signed up. There are people that are already signed up that are only summer residents. We have a little over 6,000 people to date that are signed up to the Swift 911 with addresses right in Chatham, and some of them are actually outside of it as well. But that's one of the mechanisms that we're talking about trying to do, and get that word out as far as possible. That will capture them, because they do. They have an investment in their property and other things that within the town of Chatham that are of interest to them.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, that's very interesting, and thank you for, giving us a little more information about that. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. Why don't we go on? Let's go on to the next
I
topic.
have
Sure.
one question.
Yes, sir.
Like the bad storm that we had a couple days ago with all the rain.
Right.
I got an automatic call from Eversource.
Right.
Now, that's how this thing works, but why, I never had to sign up for anything with Eversource. They just called me and said, if there's an outage, call this number.
Correct. Right. And they probably have that off your bill. I'm not exactly sure how Eversource is working their system. The intent is that we're going to be able to do the same exact thing
Okay.
here and be able to get you the word out as much as possible. I happened to get a similar call as you
Yeah.
did as well. And, and one of the things is being connected into their network, knowing that the Eversource is already standing up an emergency operations center in the event of calls, if they
Yeah,
were to
yeah.
receive calls, or they had power outages of whatever the case may be.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, I just want to ask you about
Sure.
sheltering. Where is the sheltering going to take place for people if they need it?
Right. And right now, the town is set up with a regional shelter, and we take care of that with, we have an agreement with Barnstable County, and in the sheltering, the long-term sheltering is in Harwich. And the reason for that is, there's a couple of reasons for that. And one of the things is, I'll point out a few things, but one of the reasons for that is what Barnstable County has done a great job is they set up regional shelters throughout Cape Cod. And with that is they have contracts for doctors, for nurses, and for security with them. And that's one of the things when you set up the shelters, you need that sort of opportunity, and you need those facilities and those type of amenities in place to ensure that the folks that are going to the shelters happen to have all those in place. A doctor's there because you're not exactly sure what you're going to get in a shelter. You're either going to get people that are different type of demographics. You're going to get elderly population. You're going to get people with special needs. So the doctors and the facilities and the people are there that are able to care for them. So that is the reason for the regional shelters. And it's able to hit a wide variety of the demographics to ensure that we have that capability and those capabilities are met. What we're working on in the town of Chatham is we're actually working on, they're called personal care sites, PCSs. I'll refer to them as PCS, which is a temporary shelter, but the term that Massachusetts uses and Massachusetts Emergency Management uses is called personal care sites. And we're going through and we're trying to develop these right now. We're currently in the process with U.S. Fish and Game over on Morris Island because they have a generator on site and they're able to basically have temporary facilities in the event of power outages. They're able to power up a small portion of Morris Island's facilities, fish and wildlife. So right now with Matt Hillman, who's the director out there, we've started negotiating and they're able to, if residents of Morris Island go down, they're going to be able to go there from a set times. We'll just say, I don't have the specific set time. Well, we'll probably talk about maybe 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., where people will be able to go over there, be able to charge their phones, look at their iPads, whatever the case may be able to provide some sort of, water, that sort of thing, and get out of the house because they'll probably end up getting a little bit of stir crazy, get a little bit of anxiety as a result of losing power. And, and sometimes it's good to have somebody to talk to just to ensure them all's good in the world.
And perhaps warmth.
Exactly correct. You're exactly
If it
right.
happens in the wintertime.
You're right.
Is there any way or means that you're planning to pick people up who can't drive or for whatever reason can't get in a car or get someone to take them to the shelter?
Right. One of the avenues that we're already we've worked on is Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority already through their systems has already provided and that's part of the agreement with Barnstable County has offered transportation that way. Our police department has also indicated as well that they could do that, and our fire department, if necessary, they can do that. One of the things when we talk about the temporary shelters is just that. It's a temporary shelter, it's a PCS, personal care site, whatever, decided if it closes at 7, and I'm just using those as times right now. At that point, a decision will have to be made. You either go back to your residence or transportation be provided to provide you to the regional shelter. And a lot of people are very reluctant to go to the shelters, and understandably, especially when you own a home. But at the same time, you're going to have facilities there and the amenities there that you need. You'll have the food, you'll have the warmth, you'll have doctors, you'll have nurses on staff, and you'll have security. You'll be able to bring your animals as well, because a lot of people don't want to leave their pets.
Right.
And that sort of thing is provided.
So that the personal care sites
Right.
are similar to the regional site in terms of, as you mentioned, amenities, doctors, nurses, and so on, but only on a temporary basis, whereas the regional site has full-time staff.
The personal care sites will not have doctors or nurses on site. It'll just be a site that will be able to charge your phone, your iPads, those sort of things, provide a small snack, whatever the case may be. One of the things that we're working on in town is one of the buildings that's best utilized to do that is the community center. Right now, there's no generator for that. So we're working on that, and we're coming pretty close to being able to have a lug in place where we're going to be able to put a generator there that will fire up. And we're hoping within the next few months that we'll be able to accomplish that. So that's what we're currently working on as we speak.
That's a good idea.
Now, you mentioned at the beginning that for people who are trying to sign up for the Swift 911, we're getting help from neighbors or
That's
people
correct.
that they knew, which brings me to the idea of volunteers. And I know you're looking for volunteers.
Right. What we're doing right now is myself and one of our captains on the fire force is going through a community emergency response training course for volunteers so that we get certified and we can deliver that. And there's a couple ways for volunteers right now, and collectively, the police department, the fire department, and emergency management, we're all looking at those sort of training opportunities in which way we can do it. People are already signing up for the Citizens Police Academy, Citizens Fire Academy, and then we're hoping by the end of next year, we're going to be able to put on the Community Emergency Response Team. It's called CERT, and we'll be able to put on a class for that and look for volunteers. I've been working with a couple people in the community already, former firefighter, Mr. Miller, Mrs. Gibbs as well. Alan Pollock has helped out a lot, and Mr. Ryder as well when it comes to communications. We've been in Ryan as well, and we've been looking at a little different things. We've been looking at what are the vulnerabilities of the town, what are the things that the town needs, how do we get messages across. That's why we opted at Swift 911 and looking at some other programs and ensuring these things are set in place that helps the community and gets it out there. The challenge is, just as you said, volunteers. It's hard to get volunteers. It truly is, and keeping them engaged as well and having enough stable type of opportunities for them. So it's to make it interesting, make it rewarding, and give them some sort of self-empowerment as well.
Right. Well, that's great.
So we have to look at those avenues.
Well, John, do you have any kind of final items to say and wrap up for everybody? Something that the general public might take from this?
Well, I would go back to the Swift 911, and one of the things is when you start talking about anything, when you look at stuff, you try to be as efficient as possible and try to reduce redundancies so that you're streamlined and everything's, working efficiently. However, when it comes to communications, you don't want redundancy. You want redundancy. You want as much redundancy as possible to communicate and get your message across and keep citizens updated on what's going on. So the Swift 911, people may get additional type of communications, and they may get frustrated. Hey, I'm getting notified too much. Well, I would tell you, from our standpoint, I would tell you that's probably a good thing that you know exactly what's going on, because it's important to be transparent and let everybody know what's going on.
Sure.
It's a work in progress.
Right.
We're going to get there, so it's just a brand new program. Deputy Police Chief Cobble used to be the previous emergency manager, did a great job. He laid out some awesome foundation for where the town needs to go, and we're just trying to continue the pace for him and trying to bring it to the next level. He did a very good job setting everything up.
Well, John Kondratorz, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
with us today.
Thank
This
you,
has
John.
been very informative. I think our viewers now have an idea about Swift 911 and maybe some more information about where to go in case of an emergency, or where to go to shelter, and also to volunteer. So you people out there, volunteer. This is an important thing, whether it's the police academy, the fire academy, or the emergency response team. Thank you again, John.
Thank you, Hon.
Thank you, John.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Rich.
Righto. That wraps it up for this time. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Chatham Today. Remember, the show runs on Public Access Channel 99 on Mondays at 9 a.m. and several other times during the week. If you missed the cablecast or want to see it again, you can find us on Facebook and YouTube, or you can visit our website. Just do a Google search for site/Chatham Today, and it should be the first entry that you see. The web address is on the screen now. Chatham Today is a video chronicle of the events and activities in the town of Chatham. If you would like to have what's happening in your organization announced on the air, please email us. We look forward to hearing from you. And you can also like us on Facebook at Chatham Today. Thank you for watching. We'll see you down the road.